When it comes to sales, stop beating around the bush. What's up? It's Eric J. Olson. I've been doing a lot of sales training and a lot of role playing and a lot of practicing, and we've been tweaking our process and simplifying it. And look, here's something that I have come to realize. In the past, we were not direct in our sales process at all. We would beat around the bush. Now, I'll try to give you a couple of examples. All right. So, like one is we used to use like these tools that would try to evaluate whether a website was basically good or bad, right? And there's a ton of these tools out there. I mean, they're a dime a dozen. You can do like a website audit. It'll tell you, your website's got 1,000 errors on it, 5,000 errors, and it's supposed to like paint this picture that you've got a problem that you need to resolve. Or like we have a tool called SpyFu that we use to determine if SEO value or advertising value is like up, down, good or bad. And what we've concluded is these tools are junk. I'm not saying that about SpyFu because I want to say that directly about them. Just generally speaking, these tools are junk. And what I mean by that is they're junk from the perspective of it's not directly addressing what's going on in a sales situation. All right. So if you use these tools, if you do an audit, like what you're trying to do is like build up this case to a prospect that what they're doing sucks and thus they need to come buy from you instead. Well, like we used to spend literally in our sales pitches that would last an hour and a half long, we would spend an hour and 20 minutes reviewing their audit, doing it like we did an audit, a deep audit, and then we would review it in front of them. That is like going to buy a new car. Like, look, I just bought a Lexus, all right? And I used to have the old car that was a hand-me-down from my daughter, by the way. I bought it for her. I ended up inheriting it back. I drove it during the pandemic when I didn't see anybody. I didn't really care. It was a 2007 Jetta. So imagine if I went to the Lexus dealership and I was like, hey, I think I may want a new car. And they're like, cool. Schedule a meeting for, a week or two from now. And what we'll do is we'll do a full audit of what you're driving. Okay. Number one, I want to do that. I want to come back. But number two, if I did, imagine if they spent an hour and 20 minutes telling me how shitty my 2000 Jetta is. Dude, I already know that. I already know that my 2007 Jetta is shitty. All you have to do is just say or ask, do you like your 2007 Jetta, Mr. Olson? And I would say, no, it sucks. What do you think? So all you have to do in a sales situation is get the prospect to acknowledge that there's a problem. You don't need to prove it. You don't need to create, an audit. You don't need to have these tools that go out and like scrape data and spend 2 hours putting it together like, oh, I found something. You don't need to do that. All you need to do is to ask the question very directly and pointedly. Do you like your website? Nah, man, it was built like 10 years ago and it's kind of slow. I agree. Your website needs some help. Now, what about your SEO? Are people coming from Google? Like, do you get phone calls from people saying they found you on Google when they search? Nah, that never happens. Yeah, that's what we see with your website as well. Cool. Let's talk about your advertising. Are you running any? Nope. Yeah, you can benefit from advertising. How about social? How often do you post on social? Not enough. Cool. You could use some social as well. How long did that take me? 30 seconds? In 30 seconds, I just asked those 4 questions and got answers. Now, maybe it won't always be that quick. Maybe it won't always be that direct, but it should be a lot more like that than doing this full-fledged audit to hopefully they agree. No, man, just go very direct. Be direct in your sales. So spend as little time as possible dissecting how shitty their current situation is. Your goal is for them to acknowledge it, and then you can show them the light. Here's what we do that is better because we are experts, and then here's a testimonial, and here's the price. Are you ready to make a decision? Ask them, are you ready to make versus, oh, I'll call you back in a week, or oh, I don't want to bug you. Are you ready to make a decision? What more do you need to know before you can make a decision? Ask them. Be direct. Don't beat around the bushes.
Hey there, it's Eric J. Olson. I wanted to let you know about my book, Million Dollar Journey: How to Launch a Seven-Figure Business. This is the story of what it took for me to go from freelancer with no clients, no employees, no revenue, to growing a $1 million business. It took me 8 years and I made a lot of mistakes. And all of those mistakes, and more importantly, lessons learned, are in this book. And we have chapter takeaways, 5 to 15 takeaways that you can apply right now to your business. Check it out on Amazon, $1 Million Journey by me, Eric J. Olson.